Bases.
Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the game.
And a pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roncalli Royals Baseball on the Roncalli Media Network, presented by Gallagher's. La Pinta Field, the site of operations tonight, as your 14-3 Roncalli Royals host the 13-5 Avon Orioles. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Rob Brown, I'm Jimmy Cook. So pleased you've chosen to spend part of your Monday night with us here on RMN. Rob, the Royals, after dropping 2 in a row for the first time all season, string together 4 straight victories dating back to last week, including 2 in a row against Cincinnati Christian, and then a string of wins against Southport and Heritage Christian. But all things considered, the state rankings still pretty strong for the Royals, despite 3 losses on the season, and it appears they've revamped back into that long winning streak form, having rattled off 4 in a row.
Well, big test for the Royals tonight, taking on an Avon team despite dropping 3 of its last 4. Orioles come in 13-5. Ranked 19th in the state in the Max Preps poll, which is an all-class poll. Royals are 7th in that all-class poll. Royals 5th in the just released today coaches poll. That's a 3A poll. Avon is 9th in the 4A poll. We'll get to the lineups here in a second. Wyatt Pennington leading off for Avon, the shortstop, who's an Evansville commit.
Yeah, the future Purple Ace swings at the first pitch from Jaden Correa, and we're underway from La Pinta Field. Pennington on the season, a 400 hitter, 3 homers and 16 RBIs.
Making the start for the Royals, the junior right-hander, Jaden Correa. Correa's stat line, this is 4th appearance, 3rd start, 2-0 his record.
Grounded foul, third base side.
1.29 ERA, 16 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed just 3 runs, 7 hits, and listen to this, 27 strikeouts against just 4 walks. In his last start, last Saturday, or I should say 2 Saturdays ago, and I'll finish that after this next pitch.
0-2 to Pennington. Outside off the plate, diving effort for it is Roselli.
2 Saturdays ago, Correa at the back end of the doubleheader against Cincinnati Christian here pitched a complete game shutout. Allowed just 2 hits, struck out 16, and walked 2.
1-2. Hammered into left and foul. Give me that again.
16 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits. He was spectacular.
That is an impressive number at any level.
And Correa also this season defeated top 10 3A Gibson Southern on a Monday night when Roncalli went down and met Gibson Southern on a neutral field at Indiana University at Kauffman Field.
Go Hoosiers. Obligatory, I feel like, at this stage.
No question.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Off-speed movement late from Correa. Ended up at the knees, and chasing was Pennington. Fooled by the movement. There's 1 away, and the first strikeout of the ball game for Correa. Brings up Braden Sawyer, the center fielder. Sawyer on the season, a .426 hitter, 1 homer, 17 RBIs. Correa's initial offering. Swung on and missed. Threw it by him. 0-1. Correa looks into Roselli. 0-1 to Sawyer. Backdoor movement finds the inside corner. 0-2. .60 degrees first pitch temperature as the 0-2 is low in the dirt. Count 1-2, brought to you by our fine friends over at Gallagher's. 1-2. Upstairs, 2-2.
Correa tried to drop the off-speed pitch in.
Sunny skies here at La Pinta Field with a bit of some cloud cover mixed in. 2-2 off the plate, 3-2. But what was an ugly morning into early afternoon temperature-wise and cloud cover-wise is turned into a nice cool spring night here on the south side of Indianapolis. Correa's 3-2 is popped in the air into shallow right. Ash back, makes the catch, and there's 2 down.
Let's set the defense for you for Roncalli. In the outfield, Will Manship in left, Rudy Shetley in center, Colin Ash making that catch in right. Infield has Maddox Hayworth at third, Gio Artizone at short, Sam Rader at second, Drew Nelson over at first, and J.P. Roselli, the senior, behind the plate.
Brings up Clayton Lenz, a .388 hitter. 1 homer and 9 RBIs for the righty hitting Lenz. Swings the first offering, count 0-1. Korea's 0-1. Throws him, but does not find the corner. Did he go around? He did not. Count 1-1. Jack Bland, the first baseman, bats fourth. Xavier Esslinger, the catcher, batting fifth. Caleb Wessler, DH, batting sixth. Pitch. Popped. Down the third base line, giving Chase his manship, and that'll be out of play. Gave it a good effort, but it gets all the way to the fence. Gage Zollner, batting seventh, third baseman. Lane Harmon, the left fielder, batting eighth. And Caleb McIntyre, the right fielder, bats ninth for the Orioles. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here, top of the first. As Korea tries to work a 1-2-3 opening inning. Lenz awaits. 1-2 from Korea. Hammered into left. Tracking on it. It'll hit the wall as Manship gave chase to it. Heading for second is Lenz, and he'll be there with a standing double. So finally, a contact swing does not hook foul for the Orioles. It gets all the way to the wall and left. And a 2-out double standing for Clayton Lenz.
Lenz's 4th double of the year. That's second on the team.
Brings up the lefty hitting Jack Bland. Get to Bland's numbers in just a second after this initial offering from Korea. Takes a look at the runner in Lenz. Delivers, swing and a miss. Count 0-1. Bland on the season, a .353 hitter with a homer to his name and 14 RBIs. Lenz off second. Korea gives him a look. 0-1. Swung on and missed. Got behind Roselli. He'll throw. No, he will not make a throw. Double clutch towards third, then thought better of it. Lenz was already halfway there. So instead of potential error into left and bringing a run home, Roselli pockets it. And advancing to third is Lenz.
Well, it is 0-2. I'm guessing that'll be scored a pass ball, as that pitch did not hit the dirt, and it came out the glove of Roselli.
Quick change in the baseball requested by Korea. He's all set now. Runner on third, 2 outs here, top of the first. 0-2 to Bland. Off the plate, 1-2. The lefty hitting Bland awaits. 1-2 from Korea. Low in the dirt and blocked by Roselli, 2-2.
Our umpires tonight, Albert Brashear behind the plate, Brett Hunt working the bases.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Korea offers to Bland. Swung on and missed. It was dropped initially by Roselli. He'll throw to first for the punch out anyway. And brief sprinkling of trouble with a runner on third, worked out of by Korea. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've played a half inning of baseball. We're scoreless. Royals coming to bat after this. It's Roncalli Royals Baseball on the Roncalli Media Network, presented by Gallagher's.
Marian University wants to know, what are you made of? At Marian University, our students are made of character and faith. Our students are service-minded and want to make a difference in the world. Our students possess the skills and intellect required of leaders. Come to Marian University, Indy's premier Catholic university, and let us help you find out what you're made of. You can apply for free today at marian.edu.
Well, back at La Pinta Field, as Avon takes the field for the bottom of the first. Roncalli batting order looks like this. Rudy Shetley leads off in center field. Gio Artizone bats second at shortstop. Colin Ash in right field hits third. Sam Rader, the cleanup man, at second base. Maddox Hayworth hits fifth. and plays third base. Drew Nelson at first, bats sixth. Luke Baker, the DH, hits seventh. J.P. Roselli, the catcher, hitting eighth, and Will Manship, the 9-hitter, plays in left field. Defensively for Avon, Harmon, Salyer, and McIntyre. That's Caleb McIntyre. 2 McIntyres on the roster, left to right in the outfield. On the infield, Zollner and Pennington on the left side, Lenz and Bland on the right side. Esslinger is behind the plate. And on the mound, the big 6'8" right-hander, the junior Jackson Mitchell, making his 6th appearance, 1-0 Mitchell's record, 2.76 ERA in 12 2/3 innings. Mitchell's allowed 5 runs, all earned, 7 hits, 16 strikeouts against 16 walks. Made his last appearance in relief with an inning last Thursday against Brownsburg. Did not allow a hit or a run in that inning, struck out 1 and walked 1. He is a big customer there on the mound at 6'8", Jackson Mitchell.
Leading off for your Royals, number 1, the center fielder, Rudy Shutley.
Well, so Rudy Shutley will step in for the Royals. As Rob mentioned, Shutley, Artizone, Ash do this inning for Roncalli. The lefty hitting Shutley comes into tonight's proceedings as a .323 hitter, no homers and 5 RBIs. Mitchell's initial offering swung on and missed. Count 0-1.
Big softball game going on tonight on the northeast side at Cathedral. 2 top 10 3A teams, Roncalli and Cathedral, hooking up. We'll try and keep you updated on that.
A 1. Upstairs, 1-1.
David Lauk's Roncalli softball squad heading to Illinois for a weekend tournament. Went 2-1 on the weekend.
Well, that does good for some allegations. I'll get to that in a second. 1-1 is fouled back.
Those allegations are only cooked up in your own mind.
Since we have the coach Pat Crosley.
Those are self-imposed.
And as well, we've beaten the allegations, I suppose, because we gave the Royals their first loss of the season on our booth appearance, but they've since lost 1 or 2 since then.
Just one.
Just one since then.
Just one.
It it's not just us. That's nice. Nice to know.
Those are entirely self-concocted in your mind only.
That's fair. My therapist would agree with you. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Shutley.
Rudy second. I was going to say second, but he's one of 4 players on the team with a on-base percentage north of .550.
He received the 2-2, swung on and missed. Fastball thrown by him. And just like Korea did in the
shortstop, number 24,
initial top of the frame, a K opens the proceedings for the man on the mound, in this case, Mitchell. Pitch. Swung on and through the left side. Artizone aboard with a single. Rounds first, briefly entertaining too, just for theatric sakes, and then scrambles back over the first.
That ball absolutely handcuffed.
Yep.
Zollner at third base, was on Zollner in a hurry. Zollner wasn't sure which hop to take it on, and before he could make a decision, it was by Zollner into left field.
Some heat, some movement with it. So Artizone off first. Colin Ash up. We'll get some housekeeping in a second. Initial offering is outside from Mitchell for Artizone. He was a .389 hitter, 1 homer and 10 RBIs. Ash on the season, a .436 hitter. No homers, 23 RBIs. Mitchell, a brief glance over at Artizone. Short lead off first. Pitch. Check swing. Did he go around? No, he did not. Upstairs. Count 2-0.
Well, one key to the Royals' success thus far has been getting on the bases and being aggressive on the bases. 74 steals, and Artizone's hung up.
Yep. Artizone in a rundown, falls to the ground briefly, gets back up, and then the tag is applied. I was going to mention this, but I didn't for the sake of broadcaster Jinx-esque. We've talked about the base running, and it is, you're right, Rob, a strength of this team. We talked about it every broadcast, and so far, 3 broadcasts in, plenty of games since, 17 games in for the Royals, but 3 broadcasts for us. There's been an error in the first inning on the base paths. Pitch inside, I beg your pardon, but inside and low to Ash. So it's now 3-0.
And if you're scoring, that pickoff goes 1-3-6 on the putout. Pitcher, first base to shortstop, as the shortstop Pennington tagged Ash out, or tagged out Artizone just shy of the second base bag.
3-0 to Ash, nearly hit him, and he'll take his base. Ball 4. There are 2 outs with that pickoff of Artizone, but Ash is aboard with a walk, and it brings up the second baseman in Sam Rader, a .392 hitter, 2 homers and 21 RBIs.
Now batting for your Royals, the second baseman, number 2, Sam Rader.
The righty hitting Raider.
Well, Troy Drosch, the Avon manager, came out as if he was going to speak with his pitcher, but stopped before crossing the foul line. So I don't think that counts as an official visit because Drosch did not cross the foul line.
Just like, did you or did you not run the red? Like, is there a threshold of
it does not,
that happens?
It does not count as a visit if you don't cross the foul line, and Drosch did not. So
over to first as Ash had a liberal lead off first base. Very close play, but he's back with a hand in there. Throw over again, and Ash once again head first back. Mitchell keeping an eye on him with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Ash not to be deterred. Same lead off first he had a minute ago. Mitchell's initial offering. Ash goes, throw high, throw to second, not in time. Ash with a stolen base. So perhaps Mitchell right to keep peeking on Ash, but Colin gets the better of him and steals second.
That's the 11th stolen base for Ash. Royals have 4 players with at least 10 stolen bases.
1-0 to Raider inside. Count 2-0, and should be noted, although I think it was more mind games than anything, Ash kind of went brief, like a half a second full sprint to third, and then went back just to keep the dancing antics up in Mitchell's head. Ash fakes like he's going that way. Now they focus on Raider. 2-0, fouled back right at us off the netting.
Some of that, too, I think Ash is trying to take a big enough lead to maybe draw Pennington over toward the bag, giving the right-handed hitting Raider a bigger gap to shoot a ball through into left field.
Runner off second. Mitchell's 2-1 to Raider. Throw to second initially is not in time. Ash is back. And Len's trying to have the pickoff move there.
Always nice when the Don Corleone of the Roncalli Media Network, Gary Armbruster, stops by.
I can hear the mandolin playing in my headset now. 2-1. Outside. 3-1. Mitchell looks in to Esslinger. Raider awaits. Brief glance to Ash, and now he'll step off. Be it the mind games or be it just the heaviness of the moment, either way, Ash getting the better of Mitchell so far in this half of the first.
Well, Esslinger coming out to talk, and now at 3-1 and first base open. We'll see if Mitchell will, quote-unquote, pitch around Raider, not give him anything to hit.
We'll find out.
Maybe try and focus on Hayworth in the on-deck circle.
Ash still dancing. 3-1. Low, and it's going to be ball 4 anyway, but quick to his movement was Ash.
Well, I was right about part of that. They did not
to third.
They did not throw Raider a fastball over the plate, but I'm sure the plan was not to throw a pitch that would allow Ash to advance to third.
Yeah, I would think that would have been part of it. And now you'll have that meeting on the mound.
Now the official mound visit will take place.
I would say based on any letter of the law, this one counts RB.
Yes,
I think
he's physically standing.
So. Right.
Drosch,
thought so.
Head coach Troy Drosch is physically standing on the mound, so that would count as a mound visit.
Submitted for evidence.
Last time he did not cross the foul line, yes.
Yep.
Mark Pieper walking in. When the bases get loaded, Coach Peeps down there accumulates quite a bit of armor as various players parade by him and hand him all the different elbow guards, knee guards, shin guards, etc. that they wear in the batter's box.
Regular infantryman.
Since Ash did take the base on that ball 4, he does get credit with the stolen base. So Ash with 2 steals. Maddox Hayworth stepping in. So that counts as a wild pitch, I should say. So Ash advances on a wild pitch, not a steal.
And Hayworth awaits the initial offering from Mitchell, and that's in the dirt well off the plate outside. Count 1-0. So runners in the corners, 2 outs here, bottom of the first.
So the ball 4 that gets Ash to third counts as a wild pitch. Royals have runners at the corners.
1-0 to Hayworth. Finds the outside corner. Late movement, count 1-1.
This inning certainly has lived up to Mitchell's stat line, coming in 16 strikeouts, 16 walks.
Yeah.
He's thrown pitches with high velocity, but
wild pitch
he's
gets behind him. Mitchell going to cover home. It's not going to matter. Standing in to plate the first run is Colin Ash, and it's 1-0 Royals here in the bottom of the first.
And that's the second wild pitch of the inning that brings Ash in with the first run, just as I was talking about.
Yep.
Mitchell's had some high-velocity pitches, but he's also been all over the zone, and already we have some activity down quickly in the Avon bullpen. It's Keegan Grubbs, the senior DePaul commit, the right-hander, getting loose.
Rader, by the way, takes second on the wild pitch. He's dancing in the same way that Ash did. And Mitchell, his stat line precedes him, as you mentioned, Rob. He'll look briefly at Rader. Fouled back this time for Hayworth, but his stat line precedes him. We'd call it a perfect mediocrity stat line. That's what we'd frame that as. If you have as many...
16 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings is a lot, but so is 16 walks.
Right. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Hayworth. He swings at it towards the second base hole, gathered and thrown to first by Lenz to Bland to finally end the inning. But the Royals, with some small balls, some walks, and a little bit of crafty base running. Strike first. We've played 1. Roncalli 1. Avon nothing. Back in 30 seconds on the Roncalli Media Network, presented by Gallagher's.
When it comes to coin laundry, Laundry and Tan Connection stands out as Indiana and Kentucky's biggest and best. With cleaner, more spacious and user-friendly facilities, they lead the way in laundry services. But that's not all. They're also the area's premier tanning salon, offering top-notch tanning facilities at competitive prices and the best hours around. Discover why Laundry and Tan Connection is the top choice for both laundry and tanning by visiting laundryandtan.com today.
Welcome back to LaPinta Field. With Rob Brown, I am Jimmy Cook. To the top of the second we go for the Orioles. 5, 6, 7 due up for them. Esslinger, Wessel, and Zollner, the catcher, DH, and third baseman, respectively. Correa still the pitcher of record for Roncalli after a nice first where he only faced 4 and had 2 strikeouts to his name, including retiring the side.
Very excited about our baseball birthdays are this week this day in baseball histories today on tonight's broadcast. There's one in particular that you're young enough that I had to bring several citations because you're not going to believe that it was actually a real thing that happened.
Good. I hope you're not referring to Triple Crown winner Citation back in the early 1900s.
No, that's a nice reference.
Thank you.
Timely.
Thank you very much. Derby Day just a couple of days ago. Initial offering to Esslinger is outside. Count 1-0. Correa, the 1-0, is popped. First base side, hanging in play. Giving a look is Nelson. He makes the catch in foul territory, and there's 1 down. Brings up Caleb Wessel, the DH. Esslinger, by the way, just in the interest of housekeeping. 345 hitter, no homers, and 12 RBIs. For Wessel, a 316 hitter, pitch in there for a strike. A 316 hitter, no homers, and 8 RBIs. We've expanded the, not for the baseball side, but on the softball side. So we await the 0-1 from Korea. Swung on and missed.
Nice pitch.
Count 0-2. We've expanded it to not just the birthdays and baseball history, but this day in history. In fact, we established Cross and I 0-2 well off the plate. Count 1-2. The first public utterance of billiards back in the 1700s across the pond.
Well, if you're going to involve Pat Crosley in the broadcast, I would expect nothing less. He is a man of letters.
He is. 1-2, just misses. Count 2-2. We also, believe it or not, we won't go into detail, but we had to pre-screen some of Cross's material through the softball game last time. Count 2-2. I told him if he had to ask, probably not for air. Indeed it is.
That's fair. Yeah. That's a good rule of thumb to live much of your life by.
Full count to Wessel. Swung on and missed. Third strikeout of the proceedings for Jaden Korea.
Korea's been able to move the ball up and down in the zone to change the hitter's eye level, and he's changing speeds. Good command thus far. We'll see. The real challenge is when you go through the order the second time, but good results so far through the first time through the order.
Initial offering to Zollner is off the plate, count 1-0. Zollner on the season, a 103 hitter, no homers and 1 RBI. Pitch inside, didn't break enough to find the corner of the zones. Counts 2-0. But yeah, Rob, he's been in his bag in all phases so far. 2-0 is popped up in the air, foul behind home plate. Count 2-1. But a good mix of off speed and movement, and as you mentioned, eye level, keeping everybody in check, keeping them guessing. Good so far through the first 5, but yeah, second time through, it's where it gets interesting. 2-1, swung on and missed. Root by Zollner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the second. 1-0 Royals. Korea looks into Roselli. 2-2. Called strike 3. It was bobbled and dropped initially by Roselli. He reaches out to make the tag. And after a brief discussion of whether or not they needed to throw to first, home plate umpire says, I guess all's well that ends well. We played an inning and a half. Royals still lead at 1-0. Trying to add to that, and we return on the Roncalli Media Network, presented by Gallagher's.
Looking for top-tier financial management? Jason Werner, a proud Roncalli member of the class of 2005, is your guy. With extensive experience managing portfolios for Fortune 500 companies, Jason and his team know how to handle your assets with precision and confidence, ensuring you not only feel secure, but see real growth. Don't settle for less. Visit wernerfinancial.com to set up your consultation today and take charge of your financial future.
Well, welcome back to LaPinta Field with Rob Brown. I am Jimmy Cook. All smiles here in the press box. All smiles for the Royals, leading 1-0 as we go to the home half of the second. For Roncalli, 6, 7, 8, 2 up. Nelson, Baker, and Roselli.
You know, over the last 15 years of the Roncalli Media Network, if there was ever available a off-air director's cut, we sold that, we could make a mint.
You're not kidding.
And then we would all be litigated against and out of work.
Indeed.
Leading off for the Royals, the first
that's what trips abroad are for, Rob.
That's
never returned.
Yeah. That's why I said we'd all be litigated against.
Drew Nelson will lead things off, the first baseman. Mitchell's still out there for the Orioles. Initial offering. Late movement finds the outside portion of the plate. Count 0-1 for Nelson, a 465 hitter, 2 homers, 14 RBIs. Mitchell looks into Esslinger. 0-1 to Nelson. Late movement again and curves towards the middle of the plate. Count 0-2.
For our softball update, number 2 ranked Roncalli taking on number 5 ranked Cathedral up on the northeast side, and Roncalli leading 7-1.
How about it? Follow that as the evening continues. 0-2, swung out in front of it. Did Nelson. And he's down on strike. Second strikeout of the evening for Mitchell. That brings up the DH, Luke Baker.
The designated hitter.
Baker on the season a .259 hitter, 1 homer and 9 RBIs. The righty hitting Baker. Awaits Mitchell's initial offering. Misses inside, count 1-0. We mentioned game time temperature at 60 degrees. No real wind to speak of. 1-0 is grounded foul, third base side. A playful occasional breeze out there on the American flag out in center. Baker steps out, now steps back in, awaiting a 1-1 for Mitchell. Pitch. Misses outside, count 2-1.
It's a big week for the softball team, playing 5th-ranked Cathedral on the road tonight. Conference game at Guerin tomorrow night, then at number 1 ranked New Pal on Wednesday night.
You would think 2-1. That one outside worse than the last pitch that was a ball, but given a strike nod. So 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Then you would broadcast on Thursday, correct?
Yeah, correct. Against Westfield. You would think, though, that matchup, so we wait the 2-2 for Baker, is hammered through the left side. That'll be a single for Luke Baker. So he gets that through into left, and he's aboard with 1 out. You would think that that's likely, if everything proceeds well for both teams, a sectional final preview, that matchup with New Pal based on the draw over the weekend.
Yes. Yes, great point. Beat me to that.
Every now and again. It's rare, but I have my moments.
I was three time zones away when the draws came out, so
it's fair.
I missed all of that. Still trying to catch up on.
It's okay.
Catch up on things.
Still, the Derby just ran, Rob. It just finished up.
Still trying to catch up on the draws.
Sovereignty, by the way.
Yes.
1 ball, no strikes to the number 8 hitter, and J.P. Roselli, the catcher, runner off first, is Baker. Pitch off the plate. Count 2-0. Roselli coming in a 154 hitter, no homers and 4 RBIs. Mitchell not paying as much attention to Baker as he did Ash in the previous inning, and Artizone before him. (2-0) fouled off the netting right at us.
So Roncalli's softball team, unlike the baseball team, who after tonight will not play again until Friday night in the opening round of the county tournament against Perry Meridian. Softball team playing every day this week, weather permitting.
2-1 to Roselli. Goes upstairs. Count 3-1. Well upstairs. Roselli had to get out of the way for that. 3 balls, a strike, and an out. But, yeah, you're right. A fierce week of action for softball. If they get all those games in, you hope everybody's fresh and ready to go for our broadcast against Westfield. Brief glance at the runner, and the 3-1 is high. Aboard is Roselli. So if you're Roncalli, they've gotten action from all portions of their order, but anytime you get the 8-man aboard, you'll take that. A courtesy run will come in as well. Be Dalen Powers.
And Grubbs has speeded up, or sped up, I should say, his warm-up intensity down in the Avon bullpen.
Don't let this thing get squirrely. Manship, the number 9 hitter, hitting .306 on the season, no homer, 6 RBIs. The right-hander with runners on first and second. Mitchell's initial offering off the plate, count 1-0.
Manship was hitting .192 just 2 weeks ago, but has 3 multi-hit games in his last 8.
It's remarkable.
And has raised his batting average over 120 points in the last 2.5 weeks.
It's incredible.
And I talked with Tony Vittoria about that before the game, and he just said he's recommitted himself to the process that the coaches teach, knowing that hitting the 9-hole, he's going to see a lot of fastballs.
Sure. Runners off first and second. Decent lead for both. And time is called by Manship.
So we caught up with, we were unable to get to the interview that we taped pregame, catching up with Coach Vittorio on a variety of topics. Try and touch on a few of those as we work through the broadcast tonight.
1-0 to Manship. Popped foul behind home plate, out of play.
One of those topics was after the last couple weeks, this is the first week in 4 where there is not a conference game being played.
Wow.
Not one on the schedule. And with no game scheduled until Friday, a chance to kind of space the pitching and reset the pitching staff.
1-1 to Manship. Upstairs, 2-1. Plus, when you know, at this stage, as we were first to this, by the way, first to press with this, when you have the conference by the teeth as it stands,
yes,
5-1 in conference play.
5-1 with 2 games to play, yes.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Runners off first and second as Manship awaits the 2-1 from Mitchell. Swung on and missed. Count 2-2.
Well, and that ability to reset the pitching staff going into the county tournament weekend where you could play 3 games in 2 days, 1 on Friday night, 2 on Saturday, especially knowing with Perry Meridian coming in here on Friday. Talk more about that here in a second.
Runners ready to go off first and second. Mitchell gives him a glance. Now looks back in. 2-2 is low, and we're full. One more bad one. Load him up.
With Perry Meridian coming in here on Friday, you're almost assured to see Austin McNabb, Perry Meridian's ace, the Dayton commit, who arguably is the best pitcher in Marion County. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a tall order.
For sure. 3-2 to Manship. Grounded towards third, and it's bobbled. 1 run will score. They will cut off, and the Royals will hold true at first and second, but the man on third in Baker comes around to score, and the Royals are in business. Runners on first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. They lead it 2-0.
Well, unlike the ball that was hit by Artizone that got past Zollner at third, that ball Zollner got to, but I think Zollner was trying to decide, do I go to third and try and get the lead runner, or do I go to first? And in that indecision, the ball got by him.
It brings us to the top of the order, and Rudy Shutley, who struck out his first time. He showed bunt there, but pulled it back. Count 1-0. Runners off first and second for Shutley, and boy, the Royals would love to get something cooking here. The top of the order. Runners, nice leads off first and second. To Shutley, outside, 2-0. Shutley, 5 RBIs to his name on the season. And a threat on the base pass if he get a board. Not that that would be as much of a factor here. It would be bases loaded if he gets a board, barring a bases clearing double.
I think if Shutley reaches, especially if he's able to drive a run in here, we might see a change.
2-0, low in the dirt, blocked by Esslinger. I was going to ask you that, how long you figure they let Mitchell go. You mentioned the speed of the activity in the bullpen.
Well, especially with one of Roncalli's most efficient hitters in Artizone on deck.
Yep. 3-0 to Shutley. He takes ball 4 off the plate, and they're loaded up for Artizone, and that'll likely be it as Rob Stradamus in full effect. You would think. We'll wait to see if that nickname runs true, but I think you're going to be right there, RB.
And a change has indeed been made. A call to the bullpen.
So we'll step outside for 1 minute. We'll step out for 1 minute and be right back as the Orioles make this pitching change. Royals in business. 2 on the board already with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Bases loaded, and we come back on RMN.
Providing comfort for families in their time of need is the main concern of the staff at Laukveldhoff Funeral Home. We are a small family-owned firm and take great pride in the personal service we offer and the family-like atmosphere at our facility. At Lauk Vedoff, we only serve one family at a time, providing compassionate care and affordable options, truly part of your community. Lauk and Vedoff Funeral and Cremation Services. Call 317-636-6655.
Meet Zach. Zach rides everywhere, day and night, rain or shine. At Indiana Members Credit Union, we know Zach. We know he's been saving up for a car. We're here to help Zach and you. Now get pre-approved for auto financing as low as 2.99% APR. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Rates subject to credit approval and valid on purchase of 2020 or newer vehicles. Learn more at imcu.com.
Back at LaPinta Field, Rob Brown alongside Jimmy Cook. The new pitcher has come on for Avon, and it's the senior right-hander Keegan Grubbs making his fourth appearance. Grubbs with no decisions to his credit, even 1 ERA. This with 7 innings, 1 run allowed. It was earned, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 5 walks. He's a DePaul University commit, and he inherits the bases loaded, all runners with the responsibility of the starter Jackson Mitchell. And the number 2 hitter, Gio Artizone, will head to the plate. 1 out on the board, 1 run already in, with the Royals leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. Back with the call, here's Jimmy.
Well, Rob, I thank you. Artizone reached his first time on a single, but he was thrown out of the base paths. Not something to worry about this time around. Any knock from Artizone would score 1, maybe 2. Grubbs looks in, his initial offering. Swung on, skied in the air, into shallow right. Everyone tagging. Catch is made. There will be a throw towards second, but no play at home. So standing and scoring is the courtesy runner in Powers, and the Royals now lead at 3-0.
That was deep enough. It wasn't hit too deep, but it was deep enough hit by Artizone to bring the runner in. And Royals get the crooked run in. But Colin Ash comes to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on.
See if he can continue things for the Royals. Swung on and missed by Ash. Scored his first time.
Certainly a different release point for the hitters when the game starts with a 6-8 starting pitcher and then a 5-9 pitcher comes on.
0-1 in the dirt. Throw to third is not in time. Advancing to take that bag was Manship, as well as moving ahead. The runner moving as well in Shutley to take second base. So runners now on second and third, 2 outs. But an 0-2 to Ash. Pitch fouled off home plate. Count 0-2.
Base hit for Ash, scores 2 here.
Yep.
With 2 outs.
Yeah, runners ready to go on
Royals
contact.
can bust this game open.
Boy, you'd like
with
that.
With a base hit.
If you're Coach Vittorio and company. 0-2 to Ash. Nearly hit him. Count 1-2.
3 stolen bases for the Royals through the first 2 innings. Both Manship and Shutley credited with the steal on that double steal.
Runners off second and third. 2 outs. Bottom of the second. 1-2 to Ash is hitting to left, giving chase is Harmon underneath it to make the catch and end the inning, but not before. The Royals push 2 more across. We've played 2 innings of baseball. It's 3-0 Roncalli. We'll go to the top of the third and we come back on the Roncalli Media Network presented by Gallagher's.
Harding Porman is a full-service printing and brand communications company. From creative services and strategy to print, signage, digital output, warehousing and fulfillment, mailing, e-commerce storefronts, and even mobile solutions. They are dedicating to helping their clients get the most out of their brand communication efforts with the quality they can see and results they can be sure of. Get the most out of your brand communications. Certified to be the best, Harding Porman.
Welcome back to LaPinta Field. Royals in front 3-0 over the Avon Orioles. As we go to the top of the third, it'll be 8-9-1 For the Orioles, Lane Harmon, the left fielder, Caleb McIntyre, the right fielder, and the shortstop and Evansville commit, Wyatt Pennington. I'm Jimmy Cook, and I'm going to flip over our action to the legend himself, carrying us through the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Here is Rob Brown.
Thank you, Jimmy. 8-9-1 indeed due up for the Orioles. Jaden Correa, efficient thus far for Roncalli, allowing just one hit through the first 2 innings, striking out 4. That one hit was a 2-out double by the number 3 hitter, Clayton Lenz. Be interesting to see. We talked about it last inning. Once Correa goes through the order the second time, does he have the same success rate? Still has 2 more hitters to face the first time through, and it starts with the number 8 hitter, Lane Harmon. Bats from the left side, does Harmon, the senior, committed to play at Ancilla. Hits it on a looping line. Sam Rader comes in, did not catch it on the line drive, and alertly didn't linger with it. Had to go to first with the throw and just barely beat Harmon. I think Sam held up and then waited, looked at the base umpire, Brent Hunt, and saw Hunt give the safe sign, and Sam realized, I got to get this to first. And Harmon almost beat that out.
Initial offering is a ball to McIntyre. I thought initially he had made the catch still, but they said no, but I thought Rob, his throw to first,
I thought it was late.
Was just as late and tight, and maybe bobbled in the dirt as well, but enough for the punch-out, says the first base umpire.
Now, McIntyre hitting .290 on the year, 9 out of 31. Rader caught that on the short hop, it was ruled. Correa drops that pitch in at the knees, and the count goes 1-2. Correa working quickly in sync with his catcher, Roselli, who backhands that pitch in the dirt on the short hop. 2-2, the count evens. JV softball game going on just down the drive from us. Roncalli against Cathedral. Hit into short right center, and it drops in front of the center fielder, Shutley. Charging will scoop it in and flip it into center field. Second base hit of the game for Avon.
Basically a Bermuda Triangle single, just in that perfect spot, right where the infield grass and left field and right field all converge.
Not a lot the Roncalli defense could do about that one. Back to the top of the order in Pennington, who came into tonight's action hitting an even .400. The Evansville commit. Locked in the dirt by Roselli.
Pretty good, would say the legend Larry David there, RB, on Pennington, what he brings to the table.
Other Division I commit on this roster, Carter Beck, as a pitcher on the lineup card, but now we'll see him tonight. Skied high in the air, back of the grass near second base, and Sam Rader secures it for out number 2. Here's Sawyer. Braden Sawyer, the center fielder, flew out to Ash in right field his first time up. Cloud cover has made right field a little bit easier to deal with than it usually is this time of day. Usually on a clear night.
Yep.
Although we're a little bit half hour later start time helps too. But usually on a clear night, right field as the sun sets is difficult here at La Pinta. Ash, I'm sure more than anybody, appreciates the cloud cover. Correa looks over at McIntyre. McIntyre, a delayed jump. Roselli throws down. The throw is high, and it's into center field. McIntyre with the stolen base, his third of the season. McIntyre did not get a great jump. Roselli's throw sailed a little bit.
They checked the swing of Sawyer as well, but they said he didn't go around. It was close.
2-1 the count. Pitch away, a ball. 3-1. Royals lead 3-0. Single run in the first, 2 in the second. Runner second As that pitch taken right at the bottom of the zone for the strike. Count goes full. Runner at second, 2 outs for Avon in the top of the third. Number 3 hitter Clayton Lenz waits on deck. Curveball drops in, strike 3. And for the third straight inning, Correa strikes out the final, a batter for the final out of the inning. In the inning, Avon gets a hit, strands a runner. We're through 2.5. Roncalli leads it 3-0. We're back in a minute on the Roncalli Media Network.
Discover the Coin Index in Greenwood. Have you inherited a coin collection you aren't sure what to do with? Are you interested in investing in precious metals? Then the Coin Index is your ultimate destination for coins and precious metals. We buy, sell, and appraise. Located at 857 North Madison Avenue, just south of the Greenwood Park Mall. For expert service and top-notch selection, visit us at coinindex.com. The Coin Index, your trusted partner in coins and precious metals.
Rob Brown, Jimmy Cook back with you at LaPinta Field. Middle of the third, Roncalli leading Avon. Couple of teams in the top 25, all classes in the state of Indiana. Roncalli number 7 this week in the Max Prep poll. Avon number 19. Roncalli is the number 2 3A team, or non-4A team, Jimmy, in that poll. Only one non-4A team ranked ahead of Roncalli in that all-class Max Preps poll, and that's Andrean from up in the region. Royals will send 4, 5, 6 to the plate here in the third. Sam Rader, Maddox Hayworth, Drew Nelson. Happy you're with us on this Monday night as we get another week going. Sam Rader stands in to lead it off. Rader with a walk drawn in the first inning was stranded. There's a new third baseman into the game. We'll get you that number here in a minute as Rader takes outside a ball. Jaden Mitchell is the new third baseman for Avon. Rader hits a slow roller to second. Lenz has it over to Bland for the out, 1 away. So Jaden Mitchell is the new third baseman for Avon. Presumably he'll bat in Zollner's spot. We'll put him there and sort it out later. Meanwhile, here's Maddox Hayworth, who grounded out to second to end the first. Hayworth takes it right on the corner for a strike, much to his dismay. Ball lined off the end of the bat into right field, but McIntyre got a good jump on it, and one hands it running toward the foul line to his left, 2 away. That's a good play by Caleb McIntyre.
Yeah, he read it the whole way. As you mentioned, got a good jump. Made it look like a routine fly, despite the fact that he'd been a step slower. That probably drops in there for at least a single, maybe more for Hayworth if he turns on the Jets.
Here's Drew Nelson. First pitch swinging, fouls it back, out of play down the right side. Nelson came into tonight's action leading Roncalli in batting average, hitting .465, 20 for 43. Drew struck out to lead off the second.
Nelson briefly showed bunt there and pulled it back.
Didn't see that coming. Mitchell has come in a couple steps at third as a result, in on the grass. Nelson fouls that off the front foot. Via the left shin for the right-handed batter.
Yeah, it never feels good.
Walk that off. Pat Crosley, our PA announcer tonight. Always great to have a card-carrying member of the National Public Address Announcers Society in the booth.
It's a mouthful.
Our guy Cross. Nelson hits this one sharply down the left field line, but just foul. About 2 feet left of the bag. Brandon Worley coaching third base for Roncalli tonight in his customary spot. Mark Pieper, arms folded, watching the proceedings in the first base box down to our right. Ball in the dirt.
Always stoic
Blocked.
and full of wisdom, Peeps.
He's a baseball Yoda. Peeps.
Full of wisdom he is, Rob.
Indeed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the third. Royals lead 3-0.
By the way.
And Nelson fouled that one off the catcher's mask of Esslinger.
I realize I didn't send you the text either, nor you me, so I apologize now. But a belated May the 4th be with you, Rob. And
Yeah,
I
don't do that.
I didn't think so, but hey.
You would not gotten a response from me on that. So nor did I notice that you didn't do it. So
all right, well, I'll remember you for next year.
You're okay.
All right.
You're okay on that. 2-2. Foul back again. Third pitch fouled off. Actually, fourth pitch fouled off in this at-bat by Nelson.
You wouldn't believe, I'm sure you would, but you wouldn't believe the pictures of crowds at Hollywood Studios trying to get over to Galaxy's Edge, a.k.a. Star Wars World, yesterday.
I believe it. That pitch outside, and Nelson's worked a full count.
45th anniversary of the original Star Wars,
Yes.
as well as the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith.
I can recall seeing the original back in the 70s in a movie studio, in a cinema. Swing and a miss. Foul tip into the glove. Nelson's gone on strikes, and for the first time in the game, the Royals go in order. 1-2-3. We're through 3. Roncalli leads this one 3-0. Jimmy, now I'll be back in a moment. 4th inning coming up on the Roncalli Media Network.
When looking for reliable HVAC professionals, look no further than Ane & Bartram Heating and Cooling. Whether you need a routine maintenance check or an emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit, Ane & Bartram are available to handle all of your heating, cooling, and ventilation needs. Ane & Bartram strive to be the best, so call them today at 317-889-9574. They even have 24/7 emergency service. Call them today, Ane & Bartram, 317-889-9574.
Field, Rob Brown, Jimmy Cook with you. We head to the 4th. Roncalli leading Avon 3-0. Baseball action, first of 2, at least 2 this week, as Roncalli moves into the Marion County tournament play starting on Friday night. Roncalli will take on Perry Meridian in round 1 of the 16-team tournament. Jimmy and I will have that game for you here on the network. That'll be an audio-only game.
That is correct.
At 6 o'clock. Hope you can join us for that. I say at least 2 games because if you win on Friday night, you play into Saturday, and potentially 2 games on Saturday, and then the final is at Victory Field at a date TBA. They usually work that out depending upon when the teams are available. So Avon sending hitters 3, 4, 5 up. That's Lenz, Bland, and Esslinger. Lenz with a double. And his first time at bat was stranded at third. Takes a pitch high, a ball. This day in baseball history, let's roll through some of these. Cy Young.
Ooh.
1904.
Man.
Jimmy Cook. Cy Young of the Boston Pilgrims. As this ball lined foul down the left side. Cy Young of the Boston Pilgrims on this day in 1904 hurls the second of his 3 career no-hitters. I was shocked that Cy Young only pitched 3 no-hitters.
I would have been as well.
Considering the guy won like 500-some games.
Right.
Pitch away, and it's 2-1. Cy Young pitched on this day in 1904. Cy Young pitched the second of his 3 no-hitters, eventually running his consecutive hitless inning streak to 24.
Wow.
Which is still a record 121 years later.
Also of note, back in the day, the highly coveted City Edition of the Boston Pilgrim jerseys. A lot of people know that, but
yes, just saw
it's
one
a
of those,
rare item.
Saw one of those on eBay yesterday for $300.
Mm-hmm.
Pitch fouled back and
signed by Cy Young himself.
Signed by Cy Young, authenticated by Steiner's Auction House.
Well played.
2-2. Lenz calls time, steps out. back in, ready to go. 2-2 the count. Lenz leading off this top of the fourth. Royals leading 3-0. Pitch. Off-speed pitch, slap to third. Hayworth gathers, throws across the diamond. The throw airmails Nelson. Goes into the fencing, and Lenz will trot into second base. That will be scored as an error on Hayworth. First Roncalli error of the game. Two-base error, allowing Lenz to reach. So Lenz with the leadoff.
Number 6, Jack Lamb.
Ground ball to third, reaching second via error. So Hayworth in at third, even with the bag. Here's Bland, loops one down the line, foul over the head of Hayworth, who was in pursuit from third, chasing that one toward the Roncalli bullpen. It falls harmlessly foul. Bland struck out to end the first. Royals have, that's another thing we were talking about with Coach Vittoria before the game. Roncalli's team fielding percentage is .969, which is a spectacular number for a high school baseball team. 17 games into a season. So we've passed the small sample size theater portion of the season. One the count. Correa back to it. Checks the runner at second. Drops in a changeup on the outside corner. And now Correa ahead in the count, 1-2. Pitch away, a ball. 3-0 Roncalli leads. Lentz at second, reached via error. Correa working from the stretch. And steps off. Artizone snuck in behind the runner Lentz to try and draw Lentz back to the bag. Pitch fouled wide of the bag off the end of the bat. The left-handed hitting Bland going the other way, and the count evens 2-2. Correa looks at the runner. Just missed the corner on the breaking ball. And the count is full. Esslinger, the catcher, waits on deck. Pitch up. And that's the first batter that Correa has walked.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to lead to bigger things, Rob, but it's what you mentioned. How would the second time through go? And to this point, it's advantage Orioles. Early returns here in the top of the fourth.
So Avon with a little bit of business percolating. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Xavier Esslinger stands in. Fouled out to Nelson at first. His first time up, back in the second. Curveball drops in for a strike.
Nice.
Nelson is in on the grass at first base. Hayworth even with the bag at third. Middle infielders back. At double play depth. Pitch up. Esslinger showed bunt, then brought the bat back. And the count evens 1-1. Swing and a miss. That pitch, the bottom dropped out. And Correa ahead now in the count 1-2. See what Correa has up his sleeve for this 1-2 pitch. Could use a strikeout. Ball nubbed foul down the left side. Esslinger, the junior catcher, hitting .345 entering today's action. Pitch. Low in the dirt. Roselli can't find it. The runners advance. McIntyre took a big turn, or make that lens rather, took a big turn to third while Roselli was trying to locate the baseball behind the plate.
It didn't look like it was an insanely difficult pitch to gather, just like it went through the wickets for Roselli. He just didn't expect it to go all the way to the backstop like it did. Not enough hustle on the back end of that. Fortunate that keep the runners at second and third.
So the pass ball opens first base, 2-2 count. Esslinger chokes up on the bat. Correa bounces one to the plate. That'll bring a run home with the wild pitch. So things getting a little sideways for the Royals in the top of the fourth. Avon has its first run. Bland stands at third. And still nobody out in the top of the fourth. And Correa could use a strikeout. He gets it.
Boy.
On a pitch dropping away.
Got to add some movement with it, Rob.
So a strikeout gets the first out of the inning. Esslinger's gone swinging.
Number 4, Caleb Wessel.
Bland stands at third. Wessel struck out his first time up. Jaden Mitchell waits on deck. So Mitchell, who entered the game in the bottom of the third defensively at third, is indeed now in the seventh spot in the order, replacing Zollner, who was the starting third baseman. Curveball drops in for a strike. So the sophomore Jaden Mitchell, the new third baseman, batting seventh in the order. Correa with work to do in this top of the fourth. Check swing, back to the screen, and Correa heading the count to Wessel, 0-2. Okay, on this day, this is going to take a couple batters to set up, but on this day, Herb Washington was released by the Oakland A's. Why is that newsworthy, that a guy was released on this day? Check swing. Did Wessel go around? No. Roselli came out to tag Wessel just in case, but the appeal out to the base umpire, Brent Hunt, says no, ball 1-2.
You've stumped me, Rob.
Herb Washington was released on this day, May 5th, 1975. Lined into left field, that's a base hit. That brings the second run of the inning home. Manship over to pick it up and get it back to the infield, but Wessel drives home Bland with the second run, and it's 3-2.
Now batting for the
So
Orioles,
here's Mitchell.
baseman, number 3,
Jaden Mitchell's first at bat of the game after ending the game defensively in the bottom of the third. Mitchell hitting .256 on the year. 11:43 has knocked in 5. Pitch low, a ball. So Herb Washington released by the A's today. Washington over the course of 2.5 really. 2.5 Major League Baseball seasons. Pitch outside, a ball, 2-0. So over 2.5 Major League Baseball seasons, Herb Washington appeared in 105 Major League games without an at-bat, without pitching, or without fielding.
Wow.
You with me so far?
Uh-huh.
Pitch inside, and it's 3-0.
No at-bats, no pitching, no fielding.
Yes, Washington stole 31 bases and scored 33 runs. He was strictly a pinch runner.
Wow.
The last true Major League Baseball courtesy runner. Not really a courtesy runner. He's a pinch runner.
Right? Man.
Mitchell, 3-0, taking all the way, takes a strike. Washington was an Olympic-level track star at Michigan State, signed by the A's Charlie Finley, the owner, as a gimmick, and was in the big leagues for 2.5 years.
Wow.
Had never played, Mitchell shows bunt and called the strike. Count goes full. Had never played baseball. So he played in the big leagues for 2.5 years.
So it's given Bolt a call, basically, to go
essentially
steal some bags.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stole 31 bases and scored 33 runs. Mitchell, full count swinging, lifts it in the air. Short left field, Artizone, the shortstop, drifts back, makes the catch, 2 away.
Feels like the kind of thing that the A's would do today to try to boost attendance numbers.
Charlie Finley back in the day was all about gimmicks. So that was this day in 1975. Herb Washington, the former track star at Michigan State.
Wow.
Released after 2.5 years. And you read, and here's the number 8 hitter, Lane Harmon, 0 for 1. Grounded to second his first time up. Runner at first, 2 outs. 2 runs are in for Avon, the top of the 4th. Roncalli leads 3-2. If you read books about the mid-'70s, early to mid-'70s Oakland teams that won 3 World Series during that time. World Series champs in 72, 73, 74. To say that the guys on that team, and there were Hall of Famers on that team, All-Stars on that team, to say that they enjoyed sharing a clubhouse and splitting playoff shares with a guy who had never played baseball before, they were not enthusiastic about that. Yes. Yeah. He was not welcomed in the clubhouse. Let's put it that way.
Well, for what it's worth, it's not really this day in history, but I love to talk a little bit of ponies, and I don't see anyone else would be able to just force one in. Highest rated Derby since '89. I don't know if you saw that.
The TV
today.
broadcast?
Yeah,
wow.
Well, just as overall highest rated Derby, I assume we're still drawing that off of television, but I don't know. 17.7 million tuned in to watch the ponies. Up 6% from last year.
Harmon tried to call time, but was not granted the time, and Correa poured a fastball in to move the count full, 3-2. 2 outs, runner at first. Pitch away, missing. And it's a walk. Second walk of the inning. That pushes Wessel over to second and brings the 9-hitter, Caleb McIntyre, to the plate. And that sends Tony Vittorio to the mound to talk to his pitcher. And Vittorio will convene a meeting at the mound. So we talked about it, Jimmy. How will the second trip through go?
Yeah.
And you look at it, trip 1 versus trip 2. So Jaden Correa, the first time through the order, allowed 2 hits, no runs, struck out 4. This McIntyre, the number 9 hitter, so this will complete the second time through the order. Avon has plated 2 runs, had 1 hit, but Correa's walked 2, struck out 2, another batter reached via error. And Correa's been a little more loose with the control, I would say.
Yeah, and it's a shame, too, because you go back to the top of the 3rd and, he's able to cut things off right at the head of the top of the order with Pennington and Sawyer, but it's been the middle of the order that really roughed him up, did some damage, and put him in this situation where he's at with 2 outs and runners threatening on first and second with the lead down to just a run.
So a pinch runner, Andrew McIntyre, brother of Caleb McIntyre. Caleb at the plate. And they are twins, by the way. Andrew comes in to run at second for the DH Wessel, who drove in the second run here in the inning. So it's a pinch runner situation down at second base. 2 on, 2 outs, 2 in. Inside corner taking a strike. Count evens at 1. Chopped to short. Artizone will go the short way to second, and Rader covering the bag. Force out accomplished at second base. That gets the Royals out of the inning. But in the inning, Avon gets 2 on a hit, strands a runner. We're through 3.5. Roncalli leads at 3-2. Back with the bottom of the 4th in a moment. You're watching Roncalli Baseball on the Roncalli Media Network.
Gallagher's Pub and Eatery, your go-to spot before, after, and during all Roncalli events. As a family-owned and operated establishment, we take pride in offering a warm, friendly atmosphere where you can savor delicious pizza, fresh salads, mouth-watering wings, and a wide selection of ice-cold beverages. With 25 smart TVs around the venue, you'll catch every moment of the action and never miss a sporting event. Whether you're gearing up for the big game or celebrating a win, Gallagher's is the place to be.
Rob Brown, Jimmy Cook back with you here at La Pinta Field. Oh, boy. The broadcast is even more special when the luminaries come out.
Yes.
Bottom of the fourth, 7-8-9 due up for the Royals. You know, Jimmy, there are some days when you think, why did I get out of bed? And there's some days you think, man, I'm so glad I got out of bed. Today would be the second.
I would hope so.
Of those two scenarios. Luke Baker singled and scored his first time up. Of course, when I went to bed today was a different time set up. I was operating under a different time
cross-country man, yeah.
A different time continuum over the last 36 hours. Keegan Grubbs, who came on in relief in the second inning, working his second full inning. Grubbs has retired 5 straight since coming on. Royals have yet to reach since Grubbs entered the ball game with 1 out in the second in relief of the starter Jackson Mitchell. Pitch up to Baker, count evens 1-1. Did not get, we got word that the softball score we handed out as Baker takes a strike. The softball score we gave earlier was the JV score of the game that literally is taking place 300 yards from where we're sitting. So we apologize for getting duped by that.
I was wondering why the carrier pigeon was here so fast.
Yes. Well, the carrier pigeon is also 6'3" with a goatee, but that's and was sitting 10 feet to our right, but that's beside the point. 2-2 the count. Baker hits it high in the air to left field. It'll hang up, drifting over to left center as the ball carries slightly. Center fielder Sawyer handles the putout. 1 away.
350 feet as the Gary flies, as they say.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Johnny Jaffe grabs a bat and heads to the plate.
RMN alum, Johnny Jaffe. Guess he's not officially labeled as alum, but his broadcasting duties are done, so we can probably give that title.
You can say that. So Johnny Jaffe pinch hitting for the catcher Roselli in the bottom of the fourth. Jaffe yet to find his groove at the plate, hitting just 105. Takes a ball. That's a strike that evens the count. Hit hard back up the middle and under the glove, knocked down, I should say, by the second baseman, but no play. And Jaffe with an infield hit.
Great hustle down the line, too, by Jaffe. Been a tight play if he doesn't take off right after he smacked that on the screws and able to hustle his way down to first.
So Jaffe comes off the bench to hit a sharp ball the second that enables him to reach. Tony Vittorio talking with the home plate umpire, Albert Brashear.
You'd assume for a courtesy runner, right?
Well, but hang on a second. I think what he's trying to get a clarification is Jaffe hit for Roselli, but on the re-enter, Roselli can re-enter. But I think what he's asking is if he sends a runner out for Jaffe, that eliminates Roselli's ability to re-enter the game. So I think he's double-checking that right now. If Vittorio sends a runner to run for Jaffe, does he lose the ability to bring Roselli back into the game? And he wants to double-check that before he sends a runner. And he's going to send Roselli out.
I was going to say, that would be my move, put Roselli back out there.
Yes, but I think he wanted to send,
to make sure
I think he wanted to send
somebody else.
A
real courtesy
base
runner.
stealer out there to run. And now he will send a
double switch
designated base stealer in Austin Walker
Number 16,
to run. So Vittorio must have gotten the answer he was looking for in that he can re-enter Roselli in that behind the plate in the 8th spot, even if he brings Walker in to run in this spot for Jaffe, which has just happened.
There's no chance that was he re-entered Roselli and then subbed Roselli out. That was just them putting the right guy out there, correct?
That's also possible.
So I'm wondering if they officially re-entered Roselli and then threw in another pinch runner for Roselli, so he was the player of record back in the lineup.
That's also possible, but that's an additional layer of machination that is now making my head hurt.
Yeah, I understand. You, me both.
Trying to follow all of that.
Well, and there's a side conference happening as they try to get clarity on the Avon side of the ledger as to what just went down.
Yeah, both of our umpiring crew is now speaking with head coach Troy Drosch, the Avon head man, to talk about the move. Meanwhile, Keegan Grubbs is continuing to throw the Avon pitcher so that he can stay loose. There's a lot of switching going on right now. And Tony Vittorio just making certain that this will play out as he would hope. We did not give you the final line on the Avon starter, Jackson Mitchell. He went 1 1/3, allowed 3 runs, all earned.
Next up for your Royals,
3 hits,
number 5, Will
2 strikeouts, 4 walks, and 2 wild pitches. So that's the line on Mitchell. Austin Walker runs at first base for Jaffe. Will Manship stands in. Manship singled in a run in the second. Jaffe's single was the first runner to reach base against the reliever Grubbs. Manship hits it off the end of the bat. The sun is out. Right fielder battling the sun, drifting toward the line. That's McIntyre. And grabs it for the out, 1-2 away.
Now batting for the Royals, number 1, Rudy Shutley.
Here's Rudy Shutley. Rudy 0 for 1. Struck out in the first. Walked and stole a base, but was stranded in the second. Baseball birthdays today. We got the first one, Jimmy, I'm going to lay on you again, is what would be described as vintage.
Okay.
Born on this date, May 5th, 1884. The only
that's a fair use of that word.
The only Hall of Famer born on this day. That would be the great Chief Bender. Born in Crow Wing, Minnesota. Walker goes, there'll be no throw. 4th stolen base of the game for Roncalli. Chief Bender won 212 games in his Hall of Fame pitching career and was a part of 3 World Series winners with the Philadelphia A's. 1910, 11, and 13.
Now,
pitch in, tie to strike.
Chief Bender, for reference, is that like disgraced early season closer Devin Williams, the Airbender? Is that like that's a true name there?
Well, it was back when you could call somebody Chief.
Fair.
If you know where I'm going with
that.
Yes,
I understand.
Yes.
I understand.
So Chief Bender, born on this date in May 5th, 1884. Chief passed away in 1954.
Wow.
But, yes, the only Hall of Famer born on this day in baseball history. We'll get a couple more of those in. Shetley takes the pitch inside for a walk. Second walk drawn by Rudy today. Want to make sure we acknowledge the greatness of Chief Bender.
That's important.
Here's Artizone. Gio singled and was caught stealing in a rundown in the first. Sacrifice fly drove in a run in the second. Troy Jarosh heading out to have a conversation. Not sure if this is going to be a pitching change or not. No activity in the bullpen, so I'm guessing no. This is a strategic chit-chat.
As you would expect with Gio Artizone stepping up to the plate, assuming that is the proceedings that unfold.
2 out, 2 on. Royals leading 3-2 in the bottom of the fourth. Mound conversation has been broken up by our home plate umpire, Albert Brashear. And Artizone heads to the plate.
Artizone.
See if we can get a... Well, the last score we can track down, Cathedral leads Roncalli 4-0 after 3, but that was posted a while ago.
Hopefully the good guys have created a little noise since then.
See what we can track down. Artizone ahead in the count 1-0. Now 2-0. Two on. And now it's 3-0. Well, Roncalli is trailing Cathedral 7-1 in softball action as Artizone draws the walk. So the bases are loaded.
Back-to-back walks.
Bases loaded.
Now batting, number 7, Colin Ash.
Colin Ash stands in. So Ash stands in with the bases loaded. Ash walked and scored in the first. First pitch swinging. Ash hits it into the gap in left center field. Going back, and it's off the wall. Just missed a home run off the top of the fence. 1 run is in, 2 runs in, 3 runs in. Ash has cleared the bases with a blast double to left center, and the Royals lead at 6-2.
Well, we got nearly all of that, but just before he stepped up, you're thinking for Colin Ash, boy, great opportunity to have a moment for yourself. Bases clearing double, just what the doctor ordered, and the Royals back firmly in front now with that 4-run lead.
Ash first pitch swinging went the other way to left center field, and that ball was hit just to the right of the state championship baseball sign in left center field and hit 3 feet down from the top of the wall. Ash just missing a grand slam, but a 3-run double puts Roncalli up 4. Here's Sam Rader. Sam takes a strike. Ash goes. Pitch in the dirt. There'll be no throw. And Ash has his second stolen base of the game, the 5th for Roncalli.
Quite a productive inning for Ash. Might not be done.
Big cut by Rader. Late on the fastball, and it's 1-2. Deep exhale by Grubbs. Pitch up high. 2-2. More action down the Avon bullpen. This time taken outside corner, strike three. Rader caught looking for the final out of the inning, but in the inning, the Royals do some damage on Colin Ash's 3-run double. Royals get 3 on 2 hits, strand a runner. We're through 4. Roncalli on top of Avon 6-2. Back with inning 5 after this on the Roncalli Media Network.
Discover the Coin Index in Greenwood. Have you inherited a coin collection you aren't sure what to do with? Are you interested in investing in precious metals? Then the Coin Index is your ultimate destination for coins and precious metals. We buy, sell, and appraise. Located at 857 North Madison Avenue, just south of the Greenwood Park Mall. For expert service and top-notch selection, visit us at coinindex.com. The Coin Index, your trusted partner in coins and precious metals.
Well, Rob Brown back with Jimmy Cook. Glad you're with us on this Monday night as the Royals lead Avon by the score of 6-2. We move to the 5th. Avon has the top of the order. Pennington, Sawyer, and Lenz due up. Jimmy, it will be interesting to see now that Correa has a bit of a cushion. He can work a little bit differently here in this 5th inning.
I mean, it definitely helps you press less, especially after the way he was roughed up last inning. And now you can kind of take things at your own pace, knowing that if worse comes to worse, I mean, you don't want this from the mental standpoint, but you do have help in the bullpen getting underway just in case things get squirrely. But a 4-run lead, it'll give you some confidence to fall back on.
So Pennington 0 for 2. Struck out in the first, popped up to Sam Rader in short right field. Pitch low, a ball. 2-0. In tight a ball, 3-0. Well, the last thing you want to do after your team gives you 3 more runs on the cushion is walk the leadoff batter. Pennington taking all the way to the point that he had taken one of his hands off the bat. Foul back just over our head. Count goes full. So Correa works his way back to a full count. It's the junior left-hander Coel Whaley warming up in the Avon pen. Pitch away a ball, and the leadoff walk drawn by Pennington.
I'd be curious how long the leash, and there's the answer to the question. Never mind. I was going to say, how long do you let Correa battle through it? But that answer is just that batter, as Coach V out to make a change.
And Luke Green comes on. Before we go any further, we'll take a bullpen. We'll take a break of 1 minute, come back, tell you about Luke Green, as Luke Green on relief for Roncalli, back on the other side on the Roncalli Media Network.
Gallagher's Pub and Eatery, your go-to spot before, after, and during all Roncalli events. As a family-owned and operated establishment, we take pride in offering a warm, friendly atmosphere where you can savor delicious pizza, fresh salads, mouth-watering wings, and a wide selection of ice-cold beverages. With 25 smart TVs around the venue, you'll catch every moment of the action and never miss a sporting event. Whether you're gearing up for the big game or celebrating a win, Gallagher's is the place to be.
We talked back. We've never heard you outside.
Gallagher's Pub and Eatery, your go-to
on-call and catcher?
Yeah.
Family owned and operated since 1971.
O'Reilly Branson Funeral Service and Crematory has been dedicated to serving families with the utmost dignity and compassion. The staff at O'Reilly Branson are experts in pre-planning, cremation, and at-need funeral arrangements, and have a long history of supporting your Roncalli Royals. Your wishes are honored to the finest detail, allowing you to celebrate the life and cherished memories of your loved ones. For more information, visit O'ReillyBranson.com. O'Reilly Branson, where our Catholic family serves your Catholic family.
Now the new pitcher on for Roncalli in relief, the crafty left-hander, the senior Luke Green, making his 9th appearance, 8th in relief. Luke 1-1 with a save, 3.38 ERA. He's thrown 18 and 2/3 innings, allowed 9 runs, all earned 15 hits, 26 strikeouts against just 5 walks. And the Royals also making a change behind the plate. Jack Oncall is on to catch for the Royals. And Oncall will be due up 4th in the bottom of the 5th. So Pennington, who drew the leadoff walk, is down at first base. Pennington, the responsibility of the starter, Correa, who goes 4+ innings. We'll have to wait until Pennington
Now pitching for the Royals.
has a resolution to his situation before we can close the books on Correa. But what we can tell you is that Correa did strike out 6 and walk 3. So here's Braden Salyer. 0 for 2 is Salyer. Green has something around his wrist that the base umpire asked him to take off. So Luke's stepping off to do that. Now we're ready to go. Pitch the bottom of the zone, low ball. We've seen Luke pick off multiple runners with that quick move. So keeps a close eye at first on Pennington. That pitch hits the bottom of the zone, this time called a strike, 1-1. Inside corner, strike 2. Now Luke Green working the bottom third of the zone as he is prone to do. Ahead in the count. And that pitch is a strike, but it gets away from on-call, so it'll be recorded a strikeout. Sawyer's retired. Wild pitch allows Pennington to get down to second. Yeah, so Sawyer's out, cannot advance with the runner on base in that situation.
Now batting number 14, Clayton Lenz.
So it's called a pass ball that allows Pennington to get to second. Sawyer out on the strikeout. Here's Clayton Lenz. Double in the first, reached via error and scored in the second, or in the fourth rather. And that almost hit him on the shin in the right-hand batter's box, 1-1. This date in baseball history, Jimmy, 1978. On this date, pitch away a ball. I actually remember seeing this as it happened. Pete Rose got hit number 3,000 at Riverfront Stadium off of Steve Rogers and the Montreal Expos.
That's pretty cool.
1978. I remember watching that on TV. This ball hit deep into left field. Going back, Manship looking up. It's gone. Clayton Lenz with his second home run of the season. And Avon has cut the Roncalli lead in half at 6-4. Clayton Lenz with a blast to left field.
Absolutely clobbered it. Give Manship credit given a vertical leap effort there, but he had no shot on that. That was a no-doubter off the bat.
So a 2-run home run by Clayton Lenz with 1 out makes it a 6-4 game. That is the 7th home run allowed by Roncalli pitching. In 115 innings. Here's Jack Bland. Struck out in the first, walked and scored in the 4th, did Bland. Outside corner taken for a strike. Nice job by Roncalli to pull that one back toward the zone. Pete Rose on this day getting hit number 3,000, 1978. Same spot, same call. Strike 2. Went on to get 42.56. Swing and a miss. Green took something off that one, and Bland way out front. 2 outs.
Nice off speed. Get yourself right back in things and regather some control here in the 5th.
Here's Esslinger, who's 0 for 2. Xavier Esslinger, the catcher, number 5 hitter. The look with the two-tone shirts that Pete Rose wore in that documentary with the white collars with the HK, Hit King, on the point of the collar.
Now there's a...
That's a look right there now.
There's something you can make a little money on. You can put that to market.
That's a look. The Hit King. 6-4, Roncalli leads. 2 runs in the 5th on the 2-run home run by Avon. Off the end of the bat, rolled the second. Rader to his left, scoops it up and throws Esslinger out. That gets Roncalli out of the inning, but Avon gets 2 on the 2-run home run by Clayton Lenz. 6-4 our score. Roncalli on top. We're through 4.5. We're back at the bottom of the 5th next on the Roncalli Media Network.
Attention professionals in construction, industrial, and service industries. Quality Supply and Tool is your trusted source for wholesale products, offering top-notch tools and expertise across 4 locations in Indiana and Kentucky. Whether tackling a big project or needing reliable supplies, they've got you covered. Discover how Quality Supply and Tool can enhance your next project by visiting QualitySupplyandTool.com today. Get the quality you need to get the job done right.
Rob Brown, Jimmy Cook back with you at La Pinta Field on the campus of Roncalli High School as the sun sets on this first Monday night of May. Royals leading Avon 6-4, 2 of the top 25 teams in the state of Indiana, all classes. Hooking up in this one. Avon made it to the Final 4 of the Class 4A tournament last year. Got 1 win away from Victory Field. Lost to Mooresville in the semi-state final, 7-2. Did the Orioles. Royals will have 5, 6, 7 due up. Maddox Hayworth, Drew Nelson, Luke Baker.
Leading off for the Royals, number 6.
In the bottom of the 5th. Have a feeling, Jimmy, that the Royals are going to need to keep scoring here. Six runs is not going to be enough to win this game.
Yeah, the pace at which things have been turned up from the Orioles side of the ledger and just the spot in terms of despite the pitching situation, having an ability to get a lot of rest this week with no games again until Friday, it still just has the makings, Rob, to your point, that offense is needed at a high velocity.
Hayworth takes a pitch inside, and the count evens 1-1. Maddox 0 for 2 tonight.
When you're guaranteed to see the top half of the Orioles order at least one more time.
Yes. Yep, at least once. Avon will have 6, 7, 8 due up in the top of the 6th. in the dirt, backhanded by the catcher Esslinger. And that's ball 4. Hayworth works the leadoff walk.
Now batting number 3.
Some just light catch being played down in the Avon bullpen, but nothing looking very serious. And a pinch runner for Roncalli. It's Carrington Pitts running for Hayworth. Coach Vittorio trying to add to his lead. I think, Jimmy, he's of the same mindset.
Yep.
But he's naturally aggressive
Sure.
on the base paths, and we've talked about that repeatedly.
It's the makeup of this team. Large reason for their success. Not just being aggressive, but being smart about it.
Nelson shows bunt. Drew's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Coach Vittorio mentioned in our conversation before the game that in addition to the starter, Correa, who will get you Jaden's final line in a moment, Luke Green, who is now the pitcher in the game for the Royals, who got all 3 outs in the 5th. Coach Vittorio also mentioned in our pregame conversation that Dylan Powers would be available in relief. Nelson shows bunt. Pitts runs. Throw is high, and Pitts has the stolen base.
Look like they might have wanted interference there on Nelson.
Troy Joyce is going to contend that Nelson stepped across the plate and interfered with Esslinger's ability to throw down to second. Pitts has the stolen base, at least for now, which would be his 3rd.
I always love at any level of baseball where the manager makes his point and then repoints to where the point was being made, just in case there was some type of language barrier that would not allow that to be emphasized enough.
6 stolen base for Roncalli. Well, I hate to report this, but I may have seen someone speak to not somebody I was with or myself. Let me stress that. But I may have seen somebody in a taco stand speak to someone behind the counter in Mesa, Arizona, speak in a similar fashion, trying to get their point across. There was a language barrier, let's just say. There was a lot of pointing and gesturing.
I'm glad that wasn't you or anybody you knew.
Not me or anyone I was with, but
as far as we know,
there was a lot of pointing and a lot of gesturing.
As far as we know, in this particular instance, there was no such language barrier.
No, there was not.
It was more, he stepped over. No, right there. I heard you the first time, sir.
It was right there, yes. No, in this case, it was pointing at the menu that was up on the wall. Nelson strokes it into left center field. Coming over is the center fielder, Sawyer, and it will drop in front. Throw quickly back into the infield, rolls and is cut behind the mound. Pitts will have to hold up at third, but a line single blooped into left center by Nelson. The Royals have him at the corners and nobody out. Luke Baker to the plate. The chance to give the Royals an increase to the lead.
Wonder how,
by the way, Luke Baker coming to the plate to Gwen Stefani's Sweet Escape. And I believe that was the first thing that blared over the Gamebridge PA when the Pacers closed out the
You are
Bucks.
correct. It was the woo. Yes, you're right. That's exactly
Nelson
what it was.
Heads down to second with
As
the stolen
Halliburton
base.
crossed the Bucks into Cancun.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was. You're right.
So yes, now Now every time I hear that refrain, that wee-oo, woo-oo,
yeah,
all I can think about is Doc Rivers staring off into space in disbelief.
It's beautiful.
Nelson has the stolen base, the 7th of the game for Roncalli.
Watching the clip, the Pacers social media clip, it's that play with that playing in the background. It had me cackling that was the song choice in crunch time.
So that's ruled defensive indifference that allowed Nelson to go to second. So no stolen base. Royals have him second and third, however. Nobody out, leading 6-4 in the bottom of the 5th. Base hit here with plate 2. Infield's in at the corner for Avon. Baker chopped wide of the mound. Shortstop has a kick off his leg. There'll be no play. A run is in as the ball ricochets over toward first base. Picked up by the first baseman, Bland. Infield hit for Baker. That plates the courtesy runner Pitts. Royals lead 7-4. Nelson advances over to third. Troy Droyce heads out to the mound. Infield single for Baker drives a run in. Discussion taking place on the mound. Still nobody out. And see, Luke Green, the pitcher, hitting in the 8th spot. So Green is hitting in the 8th spot.
Well, correct if I'm wrong, that would mean that you're like going to have somebody else behind the dish. Or you already had Vaughn call back there anyway, never mind. So, yeah, so yes. you're just housekeeping your order there.
Yes, on call will be the non-batting.
Yep.
So Luke Green is batting in the 8th spot for Roncalli, the pitcher.
Help your own cause, young man.
Pat Crosley, our PA announcer, nodding because Cros plays chess while everyone else plays checkers.
It's true.
Cros was ahead of me on that. So on-call not in the batting lineup, which makes sense because on-call has not had an at-bat all season. And a pitching change will be made. So let's take a break while this pitching change takes place. We'll step out for 1 minute, get our lineup cards sorted out, tell you about the pitching change on the other side. You're listening to and watching Roncalli Baseball on the Roncalli Media Network. It is Coel.
Meet Zach. Zach rides everywhere, day and night, rain or shine. At Indiana Members Credit Union, we know Zach. We know he's been saving up for a car. We're here to help Zach and you. Now get pre-approved for auto financing as low as 2.99% APR. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Rates subject to credit approval and valid on purchase of 2020 or newer vehicles. Learn more at imcu.com.
His first appearance in a varsity game, though.
Good pull by you, Cross.
You had your eye appointment this year? No? Well, it's time to make that appointment. Call Vision Quest Eye Care with location in Greenwood. Dr. Christopher Browning is a Greenwood native and Roncalli parent. Dr. Browning has years of experience and can make sure your Vision Quest Eye Care appointment leaves you seeing the world clearer. Call today, 317-386-7492. Yes, call Dr. Browning at Vision Quest Eye Care, 317-386-7492. Or online at visionquesteyecare.com.
One.
Well, the new pitcher for Avon, third pitcher used by the Orioles, is the junior left-hander Cole Whaley. This is Whaley's first appearance in a varsity game this season, so no stats, no decisions for Whaley. And Whaley inherits two runners who are each the responsibility of Keegan Grubbs, who came on in relief back in the second inning. Royals have Drew Nelson down at third base, Luke Baker with the RBI infield hit at first. Nobody out. 2 runs, a run is in for the Royals. And Luke Green, the pitcher, batting from the left side. Baker runs and heads down to second.
It doesn't matter the situation. Double play ball wouldn't end the inning by any stretch, but the Royals not letting that derail their momentum. They've consistently stolen second throughout this home half of the fifth.
We'll see how that scored. That might be a defensive indifference.
Fair.
There was no play, no attempt to hold Baker or throw over.
Sure. To emphasize the point itself, though, Royals doing their best to stay active on the base pass like you've outlined all day.
Infield in at all four spots. Green jammed and hits it into the fencing in front of the first base visitors' dugout. 2-1 the count. Royals lead by 3. Bottom of the fifth. Avon has dropped 3 of its last 4. Green fouls that off the end of the bat into the netting. I mentioned the Royals will be idle in game action again until Friday night when they host Perry Meridian in the opening round of the county tournament. That's a 6 o'clock start. We'll have that game on the audio side for you. In the dirt, block 2-2. Meanwhile, Avon will play, in addition to tonight's game, play Tuesday night against Terre Haute North, and then have a conference back-to-back with Fishers at Fishers Wednesday and home against Fishers on Thursday. Inside corner taken for strike 3. Fishers, the number 1 team in the state. First out in the inning. Here's Manship. Will singled in a run in the second, flew out to right in the fourth. Infield still in for Avon at all 4 spots. Manship trying to get one past the drawn in infield. Ball in the dirt, blocked nicely by Esslinger. Pitch. Outside a ball. First base is open. Rudy Shutley waits on deck. Manship just got a piece and clipped that one back to the screen. 2-1 count. A run in for the Royals. In the fifth, Roncalli leading 7-4. Manship waited on that off-speed pitch and hit it off the end of the bat. Foul down into the tree line on the right side. Whaley checks the runner at second. Manship golfs this one into left field, and it will drop just inside the foul line for a hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Baker right behind Nelson. It's a 2-run double for Manship, and it's 9-4 Roncalli. Three runs in the inning for the Royals, matching and exceeding the 2 spot.
For the Royals, number 1.
Avon posted in the top of the fifth. Still only 1 out.
Well, you said it to start this inning. More runs needed to be ordered, and the Royals deliver off their menu.
Now it's a 5-run lead, which represents Roncalli's biggest lead of the night. Rudy Shutley lines this one over the second baseman's head into right field. Here comes Manship running all the way. There'll be no play. Throw goes into second. RBI Shutley. And it's 10-4.
We knew it was a matter of time before Shutley got his house in order. A couple walks were tonight after the strikeout in the first, and nice little RBI single there to his name.
Rudy jumped on that first pitch. Here's Artizone. Gio 1 for 1. Whaley throws over to first. Singled in the first. Was caught stealing in a rundown. Drove in a run on a sacrifice fly in the second. Walked and scored in the fourth at Gio. Well, you wonder at some point what Troy Jarosh is going to do pitching-wise. He's got to think ahead about saving pitching for the rest of this week and cover up. Got 3 more games to cover here between now and Thursday night at 10 o'clock. Yeah. 2 of which are conference games against the number 1 team in the state. And right now, Avon is in second place in the league. Yeah. So, you know, they got to be looking at those 2 Fishers games thinking, man, if we can knock Fishers off twice,
sure,
we're in position to maybe win the league.
That said, some activity now in their bullpen.
Yeah, that's Kiernan Sellers getting up, just starting to get loose. Artizone lifts one into left field, right at Harmon, who settles under it for the out, 2 away.
Now batting number 7, Colin Ash.
Here's Colin Ash, who had the big hit in the fourth, the 3-run double with 2 outs. Royals have plated 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Went in order in the third, came back with 3 in the fourth, courtesy of Ash's double, and then have scored 4 here in the fifth. Shutley goes. Esslinger double pumped the throw and never got it out of his glove. To go through and count in my scorebook, I believe that's the 7th stolen base. If that goes as a steal for Rudy, and it should, that would be the 7th stolen base tonight for Roncalli. And it is. Rudy's 2nd steal, team's 7th. And Roncalli just puts, we've talked about this time and again, Jimmy, but Roncalli just puts constant pressure on the defense with their running game.
It's always a threat. You're always in the head of the infielders as well as the man on the mound.
Ash sits on that off-speed pitch and fouls it the other way out of play down the left side. 10-4 the score. Roncalli up by 6. Tony Vittorio, hands in his pockets, pacing in front of the dugout. Threw a couple extra layers on tonight, did Coach V. He's a little under the weather, told me he was going to put a couple extra layers on and try and sweat that thing out tonight.
Respect.
I think Coach Wirtz probably did that a time or two in his day. Get a little under the weather, throw a couple extra layers on, kind of take the sauna approach.
Yeah.
I
could see that.
Got a cold, you got to sweat it out. Got to get the bad stuff out, as they say. I've done that a time or two myself. Pitch up. Well, this is before your time, Jimmy, but way back in the day, there was a guy named Don that used to have a service station over by Center Grove High School.
Yeah.
Don used to sit outside in the heat of the summer wearing all black, drinking coffee, trying to sweat the bad stuff out, he would say. Never did specify what that meant.
It's a pretty broad brush there.
Yeah, I kind of, as an adult, I kind of understood what Don might have been hinting at. But 3-2, the pitch taken as Ash was ahead in the count. Took that strike, now it's a full count. Shetley will be going with 2 away. Whaley checks Shetley. Now comes to the plate, and Ash lifts this one foul. Heading toward the dugout, Mitchell from third base gives chase and runs out of room. Three-two count, we'll try it again. Whaley steps off. Pitch. Ash lines it right back up the middle. Pennington dives from short, throws on the run and can't get Ash. Shutley running on the pitch will score from second on the infield hit. Great hustle by Rudy. Pennington made an unbelievable dive behind the bag to knock it down. That ball was ticketed for center field. Pennington made the throw while lying on the ground. Not enough to beat Ash. Another run is in. It's 11-4.
Just the doctor ordered. Runs keep coming up for the Royals. 5 now here in the home half of the fifth. And lead down to 7.
Here's Sam Rader, the 7th man to come to the plate.
And now, Rob, even more so, you start to wonder what Avon's mentality is in these final 6 outs to their name.
That ball airmails the catcher and heads to the backstop. Sam is 0 for 2 in the game. Well, the Royals had 5 hits through 4 innings. Royals have 5 hits in this inning. So Roncalli has doubled its hits total in this inning. $11-4 the score. Rader lifts it into right center field. Ball carrying toward the bullpen. And, whoa, McIntyre had it hit off his glove. It was in fair territory. It drops. It's a fair ball. Rader standing at second base. Ash has scored.
Man.
McIntyre overran the baseball. I think McIntyre thought the ball was going to carry farther than it did. Overran it. It glanced off McIntyre's glove and fell in fair territory. Base umpire Brent Hunt ran out there to make sure that he was on the scene, and Hunt right there to call it a fair ball. Rader standing on second base. Ash was running on the play with 2 away.
Now batting number 6.
Comes all the way around to score, does Ash. 6 runs are in. It's 12-4.
Wow. Well, now business gets really interesting, RB.
That scored an error on the right fielder, and that's the right call. That ball hit off of McIntyre's glove. 2-base error. Allows Ash to score. Hayworth is the 10th man to bat in the inning. Lined by the third baseman, Mitchell. Here comes Rader. Rader to the plate, scores. Hayworth head first slide to second. He's safe. Maddox has a double. 7 runs are in, and it's 13-4.
Now things are very, very interesting in these proceedings.
And at no point did I ever consider the possibility when the inning began and the Royals were leading 6-4 that Roncalli could 10-run rule Avon. But now Maddox Hayworth is 180 feet away from ending this game. Pitching change will be made. We'll take a break of 1 minute, come back, tell you about it after this on the Roncalli Media Network. What?
Comes to physical therapy, you have the freedom to choose your provider. At Indiana Physical Therapy, our experienced therapists will work with you to create a personalized treatment plan tailored to your needs. Whether you're recovering from injury, managing a chronic condition, or looking to improve your sports performance, we've got you covered. Take control of your health and schedule your appointment today at indianapt.com or call us at 317-449-2333.
Meet Zach. Zach rides everywhere, day and night, rain or shine. At Indiana Members Credit Union, we know Zach. We know he's been saving up for a car. We're here to help Zach and you. Now get pre-approved for auto financing as low as 2.99% APR. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters. Rates subject to credit approval and valid on purchase of 2020 or newer vehicles. Learn more at imcu.com.
Well, the new pitcher on for Avon, fourth pitcher used by the Orioles, second pitcher used in the inning, Kieran Sellers, senior right-hander. Sellers making his third appearance. No decisions, a 7.00 ERA. Has pitched 2 innings, allowed 3 runs, 2 earned. No hits, 1 strikeout against 4 walks. Maddox Hayworth is at second base with 2 outs. Royals have plated 7 runs in the inning and are now 1 run away from initiating the 10-run rule and ending the game here in the bottom of the 5th. Drew Nelson at the plate. Drew 1 for 3, singled and scored earlier in the inning. Two outs in the inning. Pitch low. Nelson checked his swing, a ball. Well, the Royals have exploded for 10 runs in the last 2 innings, 3 in the 4th and 7 here in the 5th. That pitch behind Nelson goes to the backstop. Hayworth moves to third. And the Royals, Hayworth 90 feet away from ending the game. Pitch at the belt, strike. That pitch down, a ball. Three and one. We're Nelson to reach. Luke Baker waits on deck. Nelson hits this one a long way to left field, going back, and it is gone. That's a walk-off game ender. Drew Nelson's 3rd home run of the season. His first home run since April 22nd. The Royals played 9 in the bottom of the 5th. And in the game on a 2-run, Drew Nelson walk-off home run. My, oh my. That was a blast to left field. And as soon as it left the bat, Jimmy, it was game over.
I believe the line is, that's baseball, Susan. Couldn't have possibly predicted that you were going to see a 9 spot in the home half of the 5th, but here we are.
Well, we'll take a minute to total things up.
I mean, just you never know what you're going to see on any given diamond, on any given night, especially at this level of the sport. But for Roncalli to be, teetering at that point with just a 2-run cushion to their name, and you called for it at the time, Rob, get a couple runs, feel like it's going to take more to be able to walk out of here with a win. Well, they didn't just go for more. They went for a knockout blow to the tune of a 9-run home half of the 5th, emphasized with the exclamation point by that Drew Nelson blast into left that I think is still waiting to land.
Well, let's take a look at the final totals for Avon. 4 runs, 4 hits, an error, and 3 left. Roncalli, 15 runs, 12 hits, 9 runs, and 7 hits came in the final inning in the bottom of the 5th. 1 error for the Royals and 4 left. Winning pitcher was Jaden Correa, the starter, improves to 3-0 on the year. Jackson Mitchell, the starter for Avon, gets tagged with the loss. He is now 1-1. Time of the game, 2 hours and 14 minutes. Before a crowd of 135. Royals improved to 15-3 on the year, win their 5th straight. Avon drops to 13-6 and loses its 3rd game in a row. Up next for Avon will be back at home tomorrow against Terre Haute North. And the Royals, Jimmy, as we've talked, will be back here on Friday night at 6 o'clock against Perry Meridian. We'll have it.
Yeah, it's a fun week of broadcast for us on the Roncalli Media Network. Coming up before that broadcast, though, myself and the coach, Pat Crosley, will be back in action on Thursday night against Westfield. That'll be a 5:45 start time, 5:30 pregame with myself and the coach, Pat Crosley, as the Royals welcome in the Shamrocks of Westfield. That will be broadcast right on these very airwaves on RMN. And then coming up on Friday, as Rob alluded to, back here at LaPinta Field, that a audio-only broadcast as the Royals do battle against Perry Meridian in what should be a fun one. The executive director of the Roncalli Media Network is Therese Carson, video operations director, the talented A.J. Ablong and his student crew doing a wonderful job with all these sights and visuals throughout tonight. My partner this evening, as he is for all our baseball broadcast, the legend himself, Rob Brown, and I'm Jimmy Cook. Royals take care of business tonight by a final of 15-4 to improve to 15-3 on the season. And until we talk to you on Thursday night from the softball diamonds, so long, everybody.